What up? It's the real Keith. Any other fabrication of your imagination. And I'm back with another Record of Ragnarok review. Chapters 119 and 120. And it picks up where we left off with Kentoki's backstory and him fighting shooting Doji. The rune on his hand is glowing. The demons are wondering who Kentoki even is. Is he human or is he a demon, and how can he use the power of the gods? Doji says he's gonna devour Kentoki and take the power for himself. The four heavenly kings jumped in to protect Kentoki. One of them threw Kentoki his axe, and then he says, "My body, my life, I got it all from my mother and father. No way I'm gonna give it to someone like you." And then he almost cut shooting Doji in half vertically. Doji says he won't be easily defeated, and then Raiko cuts his head off. Then Doji says, "A human and a demon joining forces, you have betrayed demonkind." The other demons run away, and the heavenly kings are surprised that he was able to defeat Doji. Ken feel like it's finally over, and Raiko asks him what is he gonna do now, and Ken replies that he's going back into the mountains. They tell him not to be stupid. When you win a battle, you supposed to have a banquet, so come back to the capital with them. And he tells them, but he's a demon, and Raiko says, what of it? They tell him that nobody will refuse their friend, and if they got to know him, they would love him. And besides that, they still haven't finished their fight. Kentoki smiles, and they all leave for the capital together. For defeating Doji, the emperor gives Kentoki a new name, and that's where he gets the name Kentoki from. And from that day on, Kentoki and the four heavenly kings accomplished a lot of feats. And from then on, everybody loved Kentoki. Throughout his life, he was surrounded by friends, and he died as the happiest man ever. And that's where his life story ended. But that isn't where his story ended. In the afterlife, Kentoki heard someone calling his name, and then we see two familiar faces. It's Galnir and his wife. Ken asks how does he know who he is, and thinks that Galnir is Lord Enma and his wife is an angel, and wonders if he is in heaven or hell, and Galnir tells him he's in neither, and he introduces himself. Irene stopped him from talking and told Ken that she wants to tell him a story about her and Galnir's child. Kentoki's astonished, talking about the child of gods, and they tell him that their child wasn't actually a god, he was a human. When she was pregnant with him, they were already erasing the existence of the primordials, so she sealed his divine power and sent him to Midgar with the last of her strength, and then she disappeared. And that child birthed descendants until one remained, and the last one was Kentoki. And that's where the chapter ends. Chapter 120 picks up where chapter 119 ended. Kentoki repeats what they say back to them just to make sure that he's right. And he says, "So I'm the great 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 grandson of..." Galnir laughs and says, "Yes, that's right." Irene made it to where the descendants' divine power would be indistinguishable from humans. Or at least that's what Irene intended, but Kentoki is different. Her rune dwells within him. It amazes Ken seeing that Irene has the same rune he has, and Galnir says to stop ignoring him. Ken laughs and tells Galnir he is funny. It pans over to Buddha and Ken talking, I'm assuming right before the round started, and Buddha is looking baffled. It seems like Ken was telling Buddha the story. Ken asks Buddha why he looked so surprised, and Buddha tells him that he just dropped a big bombshell. Even in Valhalla, the primordials seems like a myth. Buddha asks Ken why did he stay quiet about it for so long, and his reply was because for him and Buddha, their births and families don't mean nothing to them. Or does Buddha want to start being called Prince Siddhartha? Buddha didn't have a counter to it, and he asks why is Ken the only one who can use it though, and Ken tells him he just so happened to be compatible with Irene rune. Galnir told him it was destiny, but Buddha feel like that's a huge cop-out for a primordial. He also wishes to talk to them, but Ken tells him he can't because they faded away, and he only got to talk to them that one time. A tiny piece of their soul was in his rune, and they used the last of their strength to reach out to Ken. Buddha says to wait eons and to use their last breath, they must have had something important to say. And Ken tells them, nah, that was it. And then he makes a big smile like Galnir and says that he just said he wanted to meet his descendant. Buddha tells Ken that his ancestors are weirdos, and Ken just agrees. He says, but that's the reason why he grew to love them so much. And then we get back to the actual fight and we see that Odin has healed up from Gungnir piercing him. The gods in the crowd are ecstatic while the humans are despairing. Ken smiles to Odin and says, isn't that kind of cheating that you're able to heal? Odin tells Ken, and you still smile. And so this is the truth behind the wheel of Golnir. And then Odin calls Gungnir back to him. Ken gets in a battle ready position and Odin says all shall obey him. Odin slams his spear into the ground, starts glowing, and everyone is shocked. A bunch of mouths appear on Odin and they're all speaking and it repulses everybody. Ares comments and says that's gross and the mouths are saying something. Hermes tells him they're chanting. No, actually they're not chanting. They're all singing and Odin is with them. Bach and Mozart, two musicians in the crowd, comment saying that the harmony is perfect and they didn't know that such beautiful music could exist. We see Jack and his Valkyrie and she says that Lord Odin is singing. Jack says I suspect, and that's all he said. Ken asks, is this one of those weird language techniques again? And then he rushes at Odin before he could finish it. But he was too late, and this technique is called Fertundi Galder, the 14th hymn. Harpalder's song of the bowstring to bind souls. The notes from the song surround Ken, and he said it felt like something swallowed him up. I wish I was being swallowed up right now. But Ken tries to ignore the feeling and keeps going towards Odin, and the next thing you know, his arm starts to shatter. He screams in pain, and all of the spectators look in shock of what just happened. Hemdog comments asking, is this an illusion? Because his arm was crushed to pieces, and that's where the chapter ends. This was a lot to take in. First thing I want to say is I love Kentucky backstory. I originally thought I wouldn't like him, but I actually do like him, not gonna lie. We finally got to see his connection to the primordials, but we still don't know what his rune actually does. We know it has to do something, or it would have been pointless to even have it. Or maybe it's just there to signify his heritage. That's also possible. Odin is becoming more and more overpowered, and we still haven't even seen all of his hymns yet. I think this round is probably gonna last, and I think it's already the longest fight chapter wise, beating Susanoo and Okita. The fight isn't bad whatsoever. I just think it's crazy that Odin and Kentucky is getting more time than Adam and Zeus. But that's pretty much all I got for you today. For more Record of Ragnarok chapter reviews, and if you like versus battles, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Doesn't cost you a dime while it costs me time. Follow Universal Debates on Facebook and follow my other pages. You might find content there that you might not find here. I also created a subreddit for all the tournament style media like DCKO, Tenkaichi, Record of Ragnarok, and Majo Tyson, etc. All links are in the description.